The Holy of Holies and the throne in heaven. The Holy of Holies in the physical temple was designed after the throne in heaven, as the Holy of Holies contains 8 seraphs, which are 6-winged symbolic creatures, a 7-candlestick menorah, and a throne, or the Ark of the Covenant, enclosed by a veil. The throne in heaven has the same image of a man wearing a crown and a turban standing behind the throne. The high priest, each year wearing a crown or a turban, would enter through the veil and complete the throne in heaven on earth once per year, which represented the Yahushua covenant. Now we're going to look at shadows of greater things to come, as Shaul said. In Colossians 2:16 through 17, let's just read that. Therefore let no one judge you by what you eat or drink as you keep the Sabbath and the feast, or with regard to a feast or a tekufah, which is the celebration of the new seasons. There's 4 of them each year, called the new month, or how you keep a Sabbath. These are shadows of things to come, but the body that casts that shadow, which is the light of the stars, called the heavenly scroll, is fulfilled in the Messiah. Again, in Hebrews 10 verse 1, the law is only a shadow of good things that are coming, not the realities themselves, because the kingdom is not of this earth or this physical realm. It's a spiritual kingdom. For this reason, it can never, by the same sacrifices repeated endlessly year after year, make perfect those who draw near to worship, because Yahushua has made the final sacrifice and now lives eternally, presenting himself before the throne in heaven as a lamb that was slain, as high priest. See Revelation 5:6 and Revelation 4:1 through 3, which we'll read here in a minute. We're going to examine the design of the physical temple and demonstrate it is a representation of the center of the heavenly scroll, shown to and illustrated by Enoch. It's called the Enoch Zodiac. It is depicted in Revelation 5:6 and 4:1 through 3 as the throne in heaven is in the midst or middle of the scroll. Many other passages, as all the prophets witnessed the Enoch Zodiac, prove that the prophets based their understanding of prophecy on the heavenly scroll as they witnessed the scroll in heaven. Let's read Revelation 5:6. Then I saw a lamb looking as if it had been slain, standing at the center of the throne in heaven, encircled by 4 living creatures and the 24 elders. He was looking at the center of the heavenly scroll, or the Enoch Zodiac, as I will prove in this video. Revelation 4:1 through 3, verse 1. After this I looked into the stars, and behold, the throne in heaven, and a door was opened in heaven. In other words, John was shown the meaning of the heavenly scroll. And the first voice which I heard was Yahuwah, the Elephtah, as it were, of a shofar talking with me. Yahuwah's voice sounds like a loud shofar, which said, Come up here, and I will show you the things in the heavenly scroll which must take place after this. Verse 2, and immediately I was in the Spirit. So he's not seeing physical things now. He's in the spiritual kingdom of Yahuwah. And behold, a throne was set in the midst or middle of the heavenly scroll, and one that sat on the throne. And he who sat there had the appearance of jasper and sardis stone, and there was a rainbow surrounding the throne like the appearance of an emerald. Let's read Revelation 5:6. Then I saw a lamb looking as if it had been slain, standing at the center of the throne in heaven, encircled by 4 living creatures and the 24 elders. He was looking at the center of the heavenly scroll, or the Enoch Zodiac, as I will prove in this video. Revelation 4:1 through 3, verse 1. After this I looked into the stars, and behold, the throne in heaven, and a door was opened in heaven. In other words, John was shown the meaning of the heavenly scroll. And the first voice which I heard was Yahuwah, the Elephtah, as it were, of a shofar talking with me. Yahuwah's voice sounds like a loud shofar, which said, Come up here, and I will show you the things in the heavenly scroll which must take place after this. Verse 2, and immediately I was in the Spirit. So he's not seeing physical things now. He's in the spiritual kingdom of Yahuwah. And behold, a throne was set in the midst or middle of the heavenly scroll, and one that sat on the throne. And he who sat there had the appearance of jasper and sardis stone, and there was a rainbow surrounding the throne like the appearance of an emerald. The throne in heaven is the centerpiece of the heavenly scroll, or the Enoch Zodiac. The Messiah must restore the throne in heaven, which has been taken by force by the false Messiah. We read this in Matthew 11, verse 12. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven, which is not of this physical realm, John 18:36, has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. The false Messiah, Jesus Horus Krishna, aka Jesus Christ, has been seated on the throne in heaven by force over the age of Pisces. He is pictured in the image you see before you in the center of the Christian zodiac, making the hand sign of the mark of the beast, Chi Sign Sigma, or 666. For more on that topic, you can see my book, The Antichrist Revealed, or you can go to my YouTube channel and watch my 2-hour documentary on The Antichrist Revealed. The throne on earth is a picture of the throne in heaven. The Holy of Holies is the throne on earth and is a reflection or shadow cast by the throne in heaven. In order to complete the shadow on earth cast by the throne in heaven, we must have 1. Melchizedek, the Zadok high priest, wearing the crown of the Son of Man, emanating 6 radiant projections, as we'll see. We have to have 4 seraphim surrounding the throne, the prophets called living creatures with 6 wings. We must have 4 seraphim on the outer edges of the heavenly scroll. We must have the throne itself, which is the altar. And we must have the 7 candlesticks menorah. We're going to examine the list of things found in the heavenly scroll and compare it to the design of the throne on earth, the most holy place where the Ark of the Covenant was placed. We will discover the truth that the physical temple is truly a reflection of Yahuwah's abode in heaven, called the throne in heaven, or the heavenly scroll, which all the prophets saw, and I'll demonstrate that today in this video. First, we'll look at the crown of the Son of Man. In the center of the heavenly scroll, the man standing before the rainbow throne is wearing a crown, or a turban, on his head. There's a golden ring of fire sitting directly on his head below the 6-pointed crown. This is the crown of the Son of Man. The number of man is 6. We see Ezekiel describe this crown of fire on his head as he witnessed the heavenly scroll. This is Ezekiel 1, verse 27. From the form of his waist upward, I saw the appearance of amber, a brilliant whiteness of colors of fire, spectrum colors, red, yellow, blue, etc., with the presence of fire surrounding his head. And we see that in the heavenly scroll. That's what he was looking at. Now the crown is then topped with 6 brilliant emanations, making a crown, indicating the one sitting on the throne is the Son of Man. This crown is what adorns the head of the Zadok priesthood, the high priest, as the physical high priest were a stand-in for the coming eternal high priest represented in the heavenly scroll. The high priest served the man-made copy, which is the altar on earth, or the throne on earth, while the eternal high priest serves the true altar, or the throne in heaven. We see this in Hebrews 9, verse 24. For Yahusha did not enter a man-made copy, or shadow, of the true sanctuary, but he entered the throne in heaven, see Hebrews 8:1, itself, now to appear on our behalf in the presence of Yahuwah. Hebrews 8, verse 1. The point of what we are saying is this: we do have such a high priest who sat down at the right hand of the throne of majesty in heaven, the throne in heaven. Again in Hebrews 6:20, Shaul says, where Yahusha, our forerunner, in other words, he was first to be adopted through resurrection, he's the firstborn of the dead, the forerunner of eternal life, forefather of eternal life, as Isaiah said, has entered the throne in heaven, again Hebrews 8:1, on our behalf. He has become a high priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. The crown is also known as the turban on the high priest. The turban has a golden crown under the turban, which represents the crown of fire that is in the heavenly scroll, which sits below the turban on the Son of Man in the heavenly throne. Here is a picture of the golden crown of the high priest. We can see in Exodus 28:36, and you shall make a crown of pure gold and engrave on it in the manner of a signet ring, holy to Yahuwah. The temple design. Now we have to understand that the temple itself, the entire temple, was designed after the man on the throne in heaven. The priestly chambers are the crown of the Son of Man, also called the turban. Below is an image from my book, The Kingdom, and I recommend everybody read that and learn more about the design of the temple man. So the temple represented the sons of Yahuwah. As we know in Yahushua covenant, it says that we are his temple. So that was what the physical temple represented. There'll never be another physical temple on earth. That age is over. We have entered now the Yahushua covenant, which is a spiritual covenant, and we become his temple. Gotta get my glasses. I'm going blind in my old age. Anyway, let's look at the 8 seraphs in the heavenly scroll. All the prophets in Scripture witness what is known as the 6-winged seraphs surrounding the throne on the outer ring of the heavenly scroll and inside surrounding the throne in heaven, which is the center of the Enoch zodiac. We read this in Revelation chapter 4, 5 through 6. And out of the throne in heaven proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire, the heavenly menorah, burning before the throne in heaven, which the heavenly menorah signify and represent the complete plan of Yahuwah, the 7 spirits, which are represented by the 7 stars of Pleiades. And verse 6, and before the throne there was a sea of glass like crystal. He's describing the blackness of space. And in the middle of the throne and surrounding the throne there were 4 living creatures. So there were 8 total seraphs, 4 in the middle and 4 surrounding on the outer edge. These seraphs are the symbols of the heavenly scroll. We see the definition of seraph is H8314. It comes from seraph, which means burning, i.e. figuratively a poisonous serpent, specifically a seraph, or a symbolic creature from their copper color, fiery serpent, seraph. As we see in Strong's, that we just saw in Strong's, they have a copper color as seen in the heavenly scroll. Each of these seraphs have 6 wings, as we see in the throne of heaven. They are singing, Holy, 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 before the altar. We read this in Revelation chapter 4, verse 8. And each of the 4 living creatures surrounding the throne in heaven had 6 wings. They were full of eyes around and within, and they did not cease day and night, saying, Holy, 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 Father Yahuwah Almighty. Now let's look at the seraphs in the Holy of Holies. We see the ark or the throne in the temple. Notice how the seraphs have 2 wings pointing upward and 2 sets covering their bodies. That equals 6 wings. That's a 6-winged seraph. You see that in the image here. But as you notice in the image here, there's not just 2 on the Ark of the Covenant. That's all we ever see. There's actually 4. And what I'm about to show you is there's truly 8 in the surrounding the Ark of the Covenant, just like in the heavenly scroll. As like I said, the Holy of Holies is a physical shadow cast by the throne in heaven, which is the heavenly scroll. Ezekiel witnessed the throne in heaven, or the Enoch zodiac, and described the appearance of the seraphs. We see this in Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 11. This was the description of their faces. Then 2 of the wings of the 4 seraphs spread upward, one touching the wing tip of another creature on the other side, and 2 sets of wings, in other words double what spread upward, covering their bodies. 6 wings total. Now notice that the image that we're looking at here, the seraphs, all you would see if you're looking straight at it would be the tips of the other 2 wings sticking out, and the rest is covering in the front of their bodies. Looking right at them in the front, you would see 2 large wings and 2 tips sticking out the bottom. That's exactly what we see in the heavenly scroll. Now in this image of the Holy of Holies, we're not looking straight at them. We're looking from the side so we can see clearly the 6 wings. But if you're looking straight at them, it would look just like the seraph in the heavenly scroll. And you can see that seraph there having the heavenly scroll in his hand, or covered by his wing. That's where the heavenly scroll begins, which is the story of the Messiah. But that's a whole nother video. So in the physical temple, there are 8 seraphs represented to create the copy or shadow of the throne in heaven here on earth. We are never taught the meaning of the 2 standing next to the ark. All we ever are shown is the one on the ark. But so that when you put the 2 standing next to it, as in this picture here, it makes 4 surrounding the ark, just like the center of the throne of the Enoch zodiac, which is the throne in heaven, as they sing, Holy, Holy, Holy. But what about the other 4 on the outer ring of the Enoch zodiac, or the heavenly scroll? where they represented on earth in the physical temple. We see the 4 seraphs surrounding the throne, the 2 on the wings of the ark, and then the 2 standing beside it. So that's 4 surrounding the Ark of the Covenant. If you look on the back wall at the top in the image to the left, you see 2 more painted above it, making 6 total in the Holy of Holies. Now, when the veil is drawn to expose the throne, we see 2 more seraphs on the curtain to represent 4 on the outer ring, giving us 2 on the top wall, 2 on the bottom curtain, and 4 surrounding the throne, exactly like the heavenly scroll. This matches exactly what the prophets saw, and they no doubt studied the Enoch Zodiac and passed that knowledge down to the Zadok priesthood. Now let's look at the menorah before the throne in heaven. We see in heaven there is a 7 candlestick heavenly menorah. We read this in Revelation chapter 4 verse 5. And out of the throne in heaven proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire, the heavenly menorah, burning before the throne in heaven, which signify and represent the complete plan of Yahuwah, which, as I said, was the 7 spirits represented by the 7 stars of Pleiades. Now let's look at an artist's rendition of what John described as the center of the heavenly scroll. We see in the throne in John's vision the menorah before the throne and the 24 elders about the throne. On the screen now is the Enoch's representation. Again, we have the rainbow throne, the 4 living creatures, and the 24 elders represented by exactly 24 stars falling before the throne. In the design of the physical Holy of Holies, we see the exact same design as it is a shadow cast by the throne in heaven. We see the throne, in the image you're looking now, we see the throne surrounded by 4 seraphs. The other 4 not visible in this picture. And the menorah before the throne. Conclusion: the physical temple was a depiction of Yahuwah's throne, which is in the heavenly scroll. The ark was the altar where the Son of Man would come to meet the bride before the throne, which is a rainbow throne representing all the Nazarenes from every nation. And he would come before the throne on Yom Kippur, completing the throne in heaven. The temple on earth was never the true home or resting place of the Creator. It was simply a shadow of his dwelling in heaven. We see this in Isaiah 66:1. This is what Yahuwah says: Heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house you will build for me? Where will my resting place be? He's asking a question, which he just told us. It's in the heavenly scroll, not on earth. Hebrews 10 verse 1, the law is only a shadow. We read this earlier. The law is only a shadow of good things that are coming, not the realities themselves. For this reason, it can never be, by the same sacrifices repeatedly endlessly year after year, make perfect those who draw near to worship, because Yahushua is that final sacrifice, and he lives eternally before Yahuwah, presenting himself as a lamb that was slain in the throne in heaven. Revelation 5:6, and I saw a lamb looking as if it had been slain, standing at the center of the throne in heaven, encircled by 4 living creatures and the 24 elders. Hebrews 9:24, for Yahushua did not enter a man-made copy, which is a shadow of heavenly things, of the true sanctuary, which again is the heavenly throne. But he entered heaven itself, now to appear on our behalf in the presence of Yahuwah on the throne of heaven.